All right, the Navy creating an official training video for using correct pronouns. This being the latest military idea to build a more sensitive environment. Joining us now, Tony Katz. He's a host of the nationally syndicated radio show, Eat, Drink, Smoke. And also Erin Perini. She was the director of press communications for the Trump 2020 campaign. Tony, look, I am not going to diss the entire Navy. I'm sure there are a lot of people working very hard, and I say that as a father of somebody that's about to join the Naval ROTC in college, okay? So I assume they're doing more than that. But the focus on this, when we've got China not given those kinds of instructions, I'm concerned about where we stand when those at the top, who are the only ones that can make this kind of thing happen, are making these kinds of decisions.
I thought we were told by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Milley, that this wasn't the case, that this wasn't something that was going to be taught. Wasn't that part of the conversation
Yes.
that was had? I think the real story here is, why is the United States Navy instructing these members of the military to lie? If they know someone is a man or they know someone is a woman, they shouldn't say so. They shouldn't note so. They should have to play into someone else's idea of what it is they should be called. They should engage in improper grammar and calling somebody they. This isn't about whether you're good or kind or decent to somebody. The video talks about if you mispronounce a name. Yes, some names are tough and you could mispronounce it, but it is indeed your name. If you tell me your name is Cheryl, Bob, I will call you Cheryl, because I never once said, oh, you call yourself Bob, you're lying. Your name is really Steve. I don't do that. You call yourself Bob, I'll call you Bob. But to ask me to call you anything other than he is to ask me to lie to myself. And for the U.S. Navy to do that is wrong. I shouldn't have to lie to myself and lie to others to placate others. That's a despicable thing to do to another human being.
Erin, wanted to get your response to this. According to the government watchdog Judicial Watch, our future generals and lieutenants are studying critical race theory at West Point. Look at these slides teaching whiteness, CRT, talk about something they call modern day slavery. They even tried to give lessons about online disinformation, teaching what they should consider partisan or divisive politics, literally trying to shape not just their military beliefs, but their personal beliefs. Erin, I will say this, at least when you're in college, you should have the ability to discern what's what, as opposed to kids being taught this in elementary school, okay? But again, the priorities strike me as wrong here.
You're exactly right, Bob. The priorities are wrong. We should be teaching our military cadets and those in the military about military readiness and strategy. We're facing an increasingly aggressive global geopolitical climate here. And instead of talking about CRT, whiteness, and wokeness, we need to be talking about being battle ready and battle tested should a threat arise to the United States. That's what our military is here for. And the United States just saw one of the best pieces of really almost propaganda with Top Gun Maverick come out. So many people are going to want to go and join the Navy and get to be a flying ace. They're going to want that now because they saw the greatness and the strength and really the awesomeness of America and service to this country. And in the same breath, you see the Navy putting out some Sesame Street joke about what pronouns to call people. If you think that Russia and China and our adversaries don't feel more emboldened every time our military takes a step towards wokeness, I mean, a person would just be tone deaf to think that this doesn't embolden our adversaries even more.
Erin, it's not a joke that people are seeing Top Gun and making changes in their plans. When I mentioned my daughter, who's enrolling in the Naval ROTC, she had talked to them a few months ago, and she wasn't sure. She saw that, contacted them at 1 a.m, and by the middle of the week, she was in. So it's something she had thought about, but that put her over the edge, said, you know what, yeah, I'm going to do this. And you're right. You see that, and you feel like this is what our focus should be. These are the priorities, and this is the America that, you know, old school. Okay, I kind of remember when maybe we weren't the greatest generation, but we were raised by them, so we know something about them. Stick around, Tony and Erin. We'll be back in a few minutes. We have a lot more to talk to you about. Well, Juneteenth and the Father's Day weekend had airlines filled to the brim with holiday travelers, but staffing shortages and severe weather continue to plague the skies. According to Flight Tracker, FlightAware, almost 5,000 U.S. flights were delayed yesterday. Almost 400 canceled. Joining us now, let's bring back our panel, Tony Katz, Aaron Perini. Aaron, this is a built-in problem. They laid off too many people right when the pandemic hit, even though we were giving them tens of billions of dollars to stay in business. And then some pilots took early retirement. Maybe they don't want to come back. There's a shortage of pilots, too. If you're a Vietnam War era pilot, you've aged out. We don't have enough pilots to keep these all flying right now. There's some built-in problems, but I feel good that Mayor Pete is going to meet with these airlines, and he'll straighten it all out.
Yes, we've seen Mayor Pete do an exceptional job so far at the Department of Transportation, and I say that with all of the sarcasm I possibly can. We're looking at an infant formula shortage. We're looking at supply chain crisis, and now we are going to have Mayor Pete try and figure out how we fix an airline problem that is really, Bob, to your point, years in the making. And one of the big things that they should be doing here is looking at what happened to all of that money that the American people gave the airlines to keep pilots employed, to keep employees on payroll, to make sure when we came out of the pandemic that the skies would be open and Americans could travel again. So there was a failure there. We continue to see that failure. And I do not think that Pete Buttigieg will be able to meet this moment, but I really hope I'm wrong, because the American people do want to get back out. They do want to travel. They want to live again outside of their homes. They should be able to do that. And you would hope that the government would be able to help, but they haven't so far.
Tony, your thoughts on this?
Well, first, Aaron, Pete Buttigieg can't meet the moment. He didn't meet the moment as the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, just a few hours north of where I'm at right now. He hasn't met the moment as Secretary of Transportation. He didn't meet the moment when it comes to supply chain. He couldn't get himself off of paternity leave. He'll never, ever meet the moment. The only time he may have come close is when he was working with McKinsey. That's the closest he's ever come to meeting the moment. There's something else here that's kind of fascinating. When you see Pete Buttigieg say, I'm going to meet with these airlines and find out why they're not doing more. This coincides with President Biden saying, I'm going to meet with the oil companies and ask why they think they can make these record profits at this time. That doesn't sound very much like American leadership or what we want from American leaders at all, this kind of threatening posture that takes place, but it happens a lot with this administration.
Yeah, they blame business. They blame corporations. They blame capitalism. And these are people that are not known as business people, other than...
Not at all. And if we want to just engage capitalism just for a second, American Airlines announced that Islip, Ithaca, and Toledo, 3 smaller airports, they're going to stop service. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of what we're going to see. If they can't fly, they'll just fly less. And now you'll have a tougher time going to visit Mimo. Yeah, we got to run. Also, American is increasing salaries for pilots in their regional airlines. That's part of it. That's good. Tony Katz, Aaron Perini, thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more after this.
Thank you.